Y'all mother, Iya Chi, all of the above. And I am back with another tool for your toolkits and how to create your lives. I had a very good time sharing this Jupiterian energy with you all as it is Thursday, the final day of Scorpio. And we are transitioning into that Sagittarian energy. So I want to really go in about how to expand your consciousness, your ability to transmute negative energy, negative emotions, past traumas into one of prosperity through the process of forgiveness. All right. As you all tune in, I want you to light up the chat with money bags. I want you to light up the chat with golden hearts. I want you to light up the chat with crowns. Okay? Because what I want you all to leave with today is a true sense of regality. I want you to be regal in all that you feel and how you approach your healing process. You already know that I am not here for trauma bonding. So if you are here because you have decided to click on any and everything that tells you if you're suffering with this or how to get back at somebody, you're not in the right place. And perhaps you're in the right place just to change your mindset, but everyone who's here is here because they are ready to create a higher level of experience when it comes to healing. All right, and forgiveness tends to be one of those topics where people get really triggered because their mindset, what everyone continues to, whenever someone starts to say that word forgiveness, it feels weak. It feels like giving permission to be violated. Okay? Press 1 in the chat if y'all feel that way. Whenever someone goes, you have to lean into forgiveness. How does it come across? And who is it coming from? Who is it coming from? Y'all know I like to get comfy when I start to talk with y'all. Who is telling you to forgive and who is telling you how? Who is teaching you how to forgive? All right? Many of you come from either a great lineage of individuals who can hold a grudge and really hold on to it and be proud, very proud of their ability to not let go of their grudge. Okay? And then a lot of you come from the far end of the polarity where it's just like forgive and forget, and just let it go. And there is definitely a way to properly forgive so that you don't block your blessings, you don't block your prosperity. And there are techniques. So there's a very easy technique that I'm going to share with you all, especially for those of you who are brand new to this. This would be the easiest way for you to just start moving into a whole nother relationship to forgiveness. All right? Here we are. The reason why I'm having this conversation is because there still is a long history of people like glorifying and revering individuals who have chosen to self-sacrifice. And I want to start with this, all right, because self-sacrifice is the furthest thing from being a divine being than you think. Self-sacrifice is the furthest thing from being a divine being. think about it, right? In any spiritual path that sacrifices any type of animal, okay? The animal truly, although it may be given its respect, it is seen as something that can be the scapegoat. It can be the flesh and the blood, the energy that goes to clearing things instead of you, because when you sacrifice something, you want to preserve the life of what essentially is the higher, more divine source of life, right? So if you decide to sacrifice yourself, you have already accepted that you are lower than godliness. You are lower than being the supreme divine that you were created to be. Does that make sense? So when you put into context the experiences where someone has violated you physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, right? At that time, there are so many different variations to how that person was able to violate you. Sometimes it's because of your own naivety. Sometimes it's due to your ignorance. Sometimes it's due to you literally were in a vulnerable state of being. You may have been a child, okay? Or you may have been in a situation where you were codependent, right? Or totally dependent on someone. And so they had the advantage over you in order to take advantage of you, to traumatize you, to hurt you, cause you pain, whatever the case may be. So it's not just a blanket thing. There's so many different reasons how someone ends up in the position to be violated, right? Now what happens is, once you decide that you are no longer a victim, okay? And a victim in the sense that it's not that this thing did not happen to you. That's one of the main pieces I really want you to see as a hiccup in freeing yourself. If you forget that this thing happened to you, if you try to bypass it in the name of forgiveness, you don't give yourself the opportunity to utilize that particular energy that has momentum inside of it to bring you greater success. If you remember it, but you stay in the energetic of anger or hatred, then you use that energy in a reverse sense and cause yourself to experience a blockage. Okay? So for those who experience some type of violation to your person in any form or fashion, if you look at winners, what they do is they see these particular energetics as fuel. Let's utilize the analogy of having a bunch of needles like stuck in, needles coming at you, a bunch of, let's use needles, right? So you can imagine that you're like this pin cushion and all of these needles are being pushed into you. And if you decide to be a martyr, then you figure or take on the mindset that, well, I'm bigger than all of this, and I'd rather just take the pain and get my mind to stop being triggered by it. But there's a piece missing, right? It's like, okay, I'm here for the suffering of being on earth, so this pain that I'm experiencing is just something that I need to be strong through. I really am not a fan of that, because where does that get you? That still has you stuck in a place where you don't take an affirmative action, right? You're not assertive in how you're going to move forward. Instead, you're so distracted by, how do I loosen the pain from this particular trigger? How do I loosen the pain of this particular trigger? When all in all, you want to see that this energy that has come at you, that's attached to particular people, that it stimulates, it creates this awakening of energy. It opens up something for you. And each of those needles can be used to finally sew together a fabric inspired by each of those experiences that will then generate you some real prosperity in returns, like really multiplying. Think about the times where people called you out of your name. They judged you for your particular choices and either how you wanted to use your own body, how you wanted to write or speak certain things, or chose particular philosophies that just were not what everyone else was thinking about, right? They're like, no, that's not the way, and they're judging you. The whole, like, you're the black sheep situation. And you chose to live your life guided by your own consciousness, guided by what is really authentic and true to yourself. Each of those people who have attempted to harm you with their judgments, okay, it's harmful. Each of those people who have tried to restrict you with their limited mindsets have given you more content to create something that the world at large can use and pay you for. Okay? That makes sense? Because you're living your life. You're living your life to have each of these experiences. And whatever anyone else on the outside is saying or trying to do to you because they don't have the courage to do it themselves, or they feel shame about it for themselves, they are in inherent debt. And they're trying to put that type of debt and blockage on what you are here to create and manifest. The more that you live in this winner's mindset, every single thing that comes your way becomes like paint in your arsenal, another color to add to your masterpiece. One of the energetics that is really helpful with this particular subject is water. Okay? Water has a tendency to really draw out some of that energy that is locked up. Think about when you are in the water energetic, meaning like you really yin, like you create a space where there's this swooping in energy around you. So when you go and you sit amongst people, either at a cafe or in a lounge, people are drawn to having a conversation with you and somehow will want to share with you or overshare what's happening with them. When you're in that energy, you are presenting that you're not living in this space of being very judgmental. Discerning and judgmental are two different things. Being judgmental means that you feel that everyone around you or that you come in contact with is asking for your opinion, that they need you to define what's happening with them. When you're in that space, you're sacrificing your own energy to decipher what's happening with someone else. And all of your judgments are coming from pain points from within. So I'll bring this back. Everyone who is triggered by you and super judgmental are coming from a place of trauma and being triggered. So think about yourself. When you get around people and you feel triggered and you are reminded of your traumas and you start to judge people, right? It takes a great deal of attachment and mixing your energy with those individuals for you to come up with some type of judgment about what it is they are doing or they are not doing. In that way, in that state of being, you create a lot of unnecessary stress for yourself. And you're not really allowing yourself to live in a space of newness and the colorful information of life that comes from within and around you. Giving you a really clear example. If you go out someplace, right? Everyone who's watching, your mind is being fine-tuned to how can you deprogram yourself from being attached to wondering what everybody else is doing, watching who's doing well, watching who has this, who has that, who doesn't have this, who doesn't have that, right? Because you really want to be focused on yourself so that how you begin to live your life for yourself becomes a service to others. That's abundance. So you're out in the world and you see someone who appears to not be in the position of life that you desire. You can either judge them as being icky, like I want to run, oh, let me get away, right, let me get away. But in that essence of you feeling that triggered, that your mind goes to, I need to get away from this person, I need to get away. A lot of that comes from the memory of possibly being anywhere close to that frequency in your past. Like, some people think that individuals who are, let's say they're self-made, they're really doing well for themselves. They think that their generosity comes from a place of pity. And what's funny is that it really doesn't. It comes from this place of seeing people in a state of need. There's potential for new seeds to grow. And so they sprinkle it with money, positive energy. When those individuals go, God bless you, right? They be like, God bless you, and they give them something. The moment the individual who gives to that person or decides not to, in the sense of, oh, I want to get away from this type of energy, they create this stress for themselves, and they reintegrate this feeling of fear that they could become a victim of those circumstances again, especially if they really actually were in that position. And so you have to do more forgiveness work with yourself to see how, when you are in that position or anywhere near that frequency, it only served the purpose for you to create a different experience. You understand? So I don't want it to go above your head where you're like, I'm trying to figure out, like, the law is self-preservation. For the wealthy, and for those of you who have now broken through certain habits, the divine law is law of self-preservation. What's going to keep you alive so that you can fulfill what it is that you came here to do? Because if you don't, right? If you self-sacrifice and you're done, you're finished, you're out of here before you actually accomplish what it is that you came here for, you actually are a failure, and you're sadistic in a sense that you've decided that you would rather suffer and lose the opportunity to succeed in what it is that you came here to do by going against divine law of self-preservation. And self-preservation means that you want to be fruitful in what it is that you came here to do. You want to still be alive to do what it is that you came here to do. So through the eyes of a winner, anyone who could even be around, and you start to feel that sense of judgment, note it as a place to release from what it is that you have experienced before. And see it as a law of self-preservation present. Now, does it mean that you're going to, it's fine. Anytime I am sharing these particular tools, we go black. We in the black, okay? We in the black. This is wealth talk. We in the black. Light up the chat. Anytime we find ourselves in a space where, yes, there's people who are close to you, who are seeing that you're doing better now, so now they want to come and ask you for things. They want to come hang out with you. You set healthy boundaries by saying no, because you will not self-sacrifice. But you no longer want to be in a space where you generate a sense of resentment or hatred for those individuals, because that's a waste of energy. That energy then goes back to them. It does not serve you. You understand? And the point is self-preservation. If it stresses you out, it causes you to have wrinkles. Anything that is wrinkly outside of the beauty of aging very well into your 80s and 90s, right, is dusty. It lacks life. It's dry. It's ashy. During meditation, I was reminded of how some people get a little squeamish about this, like, birthright, okay? Abundance and prosperity are your birthright, okay? They are your birthright because you are divine. You are divinely created. You understand? So whatever causes any type of suffering, you need to realize that it is simply raw material to create more wealth. That's it. Forgiveness, where you are revisiting what happened to you that has caused you suffering, is to put yourself in more suffering. You don't go back there to re-experience the suffering. You go back there to see what colors does it provide you for your canvas of life. You go back there to see what gems were left under the pressure of that particular experience. What would you tell someone who has ever experienced that for themselves? What gifts can you provide to your children who may walk into the same kind of situations at some point in their lives? We don't wish that on them, but why did you go through that? Keep your winner energy flowing in every circumstance that you're going through. I'm encouraging you all to sit in a bath or go to the ocean, go to the pool, and feel yourself floating. Feel yourself floating and connect with this energy of cleansing, of purifying, of relieving yourself of things that are dirtying your character, dirtying your ability to create. And notice how the water can hold all of that and still come back fresh, still come back in abundance, still come back and carry your stories away with it for you to have a new story. Think of yourself, your actual body in the water, as a magnet. How energy is drawn to you in the same instance as you are releasing things that you don't desire or you don't need anymore. There's no self-sacrifice in that, because you put yourself right in the vortex of flow. Energy coming in, energy going out. All you are is a self-preserving pump of prosperity and abundance. Abundance, we know, is more than enough. You're living in the more than enough. And prosperity touches all aspects of your life. Everything. Your health is included. If you are making a whole bunch of money, but you feel sick all the time, you are not living in prosperity. Right? Because you're making all this money and then the money is just going to medical bills all the time. So like water, when you go into water, it does not miss anything. It can fit in any space. It can go around any body in its entirety. So you want to fill your life with that prosperity energy. Law of self-preservation means do not be disrespectful to your divine mission. You're here to complete the mission. And anything that is causing you to self-sacrifice, to lose momentum, to lean towards being resentful and hateful, means that you're going to be missing the point. You're going to be limiting your energy to move forward. People who are excited about life, who are enthusiastic about where they're going and how things are potentially coming into fruition, they have a lot of energy because they're so focused on the great things that are coming to pass. That's all connected. You won't go into a wealthy neighborhood or establishment where everyone is like just unhappy. And the ones that are unhappy, they have money, but they don't have prosperity. And for those of you who are on a mission to up level, you can take the same energy into an establishment like that. And through that water element, draw out of them conversations where they will reveal to you the missing component to their prosperity. And if in your presence they feel a sense of being heard, not judged, they will pay you for your presence. They will give you jewels and gems on how to establish and create wealth in your life. They will show you some of the obstacles to why they have not tapped into a full level of prosperity. And those are going to be some of the hints you need for your own development. If they start to complain about the family dynamic because they work 80 to 100 hours a week, you're not there to judge them or to absorb the negativity, but you're there to understand more about the pump to wealth and how you must learn to balance energy so you can enjoy the goodness coming into your life. It's a different game. Okay? Do you all have any questions or circumstances that you all would like me to even address? I can still see the chat. You all can still hear me. So if you want to put a question in here, go at it. I want y'all to also remember some of the signs of you self-sacrificing. You will find, if you find yourself feeling fearful, you're throwing yourself to the wolves. If you find yourself being jealous, you're throwing yourself to the wolves. If you find yourself living in hatred, you are throwing yourselves to the wolves. If you find yourself in resentment, self-doubt, low self-esteem, you are choosing to be a failure, not a winner. You are choosing to be a failure at completing your divine mission. All of those emotions that are attached to not knowing how to forgive and transmute the gems of experiences that have hurt you in the past are definitely a problem. So you work through it. And every time you experience any of those failed emotions, right? You loosen it up some more and let it go. For today, working with the element of water, you can Write yourself a money note to remind yourself of a winner's mentality, and know that winners forgive by forgetting that the person had the power to hurt them in the first place. They forgive by looking at those particular hurtful experiences as colors in their arsenal, as fabrics to their quilt, as content for chapters in their books. Okay? Take your name, your full name, write it on a piece of paper. Put it in a bowl. Throw some salt on top of it. Add water. And as you are pouring the water, I want you to remember that salt is that of your body. And when salt and water come together, it's purifying and creates the minerals to life on earth. Clear your name, clear your being of any energy that is keeping you back from prosperous living. Salt preserves life. Preserve all the things that keep me alive and thriving. Speak over your name as your own body in this water. All of the goodness. Today is a powerful day. And begin your journey to transmuting all these dark aspects of yourself that live in the closet simply because your level of forgiveness is stuck in a loser's mindset. Y'all got it? All right. What's the most important law? Type it in the chat. Because the god or goddess is immortal. And they're immortal because they live by what? That's law, self-preservation. What are the enemies of self-preservation? Name some of those enemies. I'll put one there. Fear. Self-sacrifice. Jealousy. Resentment. Hatred. Self-doubt. Lack of confidence. Okay? Envy. Yes, that's a good one. Thank you, Mommy. Anytime you see any of those creeping up, throw salt at it. Okay? Good for you, Leah. Good for you. Because people who continue to hold on to resentment, they will eventually resent you and they will not get over it. And people who hold on to resentment have a tendency to wanting to stay in those spaces just so they can continue to experience the thrill and drama of their resentment. And that is piss poor behavior. Okay? So congratulations, Leah. Congratulations. Right. The Vex scribe said people who hold on to resentment also develop chronic illness because they do not have, they don't have forgiveness. Forgiveness really changes that energetic so that you can move on. Forgiveness is not erasing it. You can't just, you don't just erase it. You got to transmute it. You have to neutralize it. All right? And it's not in any way giving permission to those people to hurt you again at all. It's not an okay. You did that to me and it's okay now. No, it doesn't make it okay. Doesn't make it okay. It's just they don't have power any longer. They did that. Imagine being in a boxing match or a street fight. Somebody gets one hit off of you and you get stuck thinking about the damn hit that they got. You are going to get your behind kicked. Okay? That's what happens if you don't learn to take it and know, okay, that left hook is powerful in changing my direction. Tighten up. Use it as information of how to move the next time you are in that position. It's always just you're collecting information, and you need to make sure that the information you're collecting doesn't block you up. It has to be utilized. If it's not useful, then you got to release it. If being resentful and thinking about what hurt you and you can't think about how to dismantle it, it's not useful information. It's just clogging your pipes, clogging up your life. Winners don't give anyone that much power or real estate in their minds. And at the same time, they will not lay down for that to keep happening. Right? All right. So everybody who was here today, who's watching this video, who's listening to this video, in the comment sections, I want you to report back how this video helped you, how the ritual goes for yourself if you decide to do it today. If you're in the Discord, you know, for the Slytherin chat, for the Occult College, shouts out to the gang. You know, post your picture of your name in that water after you've done it though, okay? After you've done it and you've completed it, not while you're doing it. And release that, because we're moving into that whole Archer energy. You do not want to be stuck when everybody starts moving forward and upwards. All right, y'all. Shouts out to all my wrenches, my fairies, keeping the chat clean. I will see y'all soon. Peace, love, and bliss.